Hey everybody, Greg Neri coming to you from Tampa, Florida, where I'm going to give you a special sneak peek at my new upcoming book. Hello, I'm Johnny Cash, coming from Candlewick in September, art by the fabulous A.G. Ford. So Betsy Bird asked me about the story behind the story, and since Johnny Cash is a real story, I thought I'd give you top 5 things you might not know about the Man in Black. Even though there are a lot of people who think they know everything about him because he was such an extraordinary personality, kind of the voice of America in the 20th century, the man, the myth, and legend. So here we go. Top 5 facts you might not know about Johnny Cash. Let's see. Number 5, JR. Who's JR? Well, that's the name Johnny Cash grew up with. He wasn't born Johnny Cash. When he was born, he was named JR, a name which stood for nothing, actually. And it wasn't until he joined the Air Force that he was forced to come up with a real name. So he changed it to John R. Cash. And then later on, when he started to play music and teamed up with legendary producer Sam Phillips, who thought Johnny might have a little more pizzazz to it, a little bit more show business. So he became Johnny Cash. So number 4, what is the first song Johnny Cash ever sang? Well, let's see. That would be when he was 3 years old. And the first song he ever sang was a song called I'm Bound for the Promised Land. And he was huddled in the back of a flatbed truck, 3 years old, making his way to a new life as his family escaped the ravages of the Great Depression. On the back of a flatbed truck, freezing in the middle of winter with his brothers and sisters and his mother playing an old beat-up guitar. And she would sing gospels to keep them, motivated and warm inside. And so his first recollection of his song is this gospel, I'm Bound for the Promised Land, as they headed north, hopefully to the Promised Land and a new future. Number 3, I bet you didn't know Johnny Cash was a code breaker. During the Cold War, he joined the Air Force, was sent to Germany where he became a radio operator, which meant he was one of these guys sitting on the headphones listening to Morse code, secret codes coming across the airwaves from the Russians. And he was the guy that was listening and breaking Russian secrets as they came over the airwaves. And in fact, he was so good, he got a presidential commendation for his work. The other interesting thing was listening all day to that beat, the Morse code. He started to write songs to that beat, and if you know Johnny Cash music now, has that boom chicka boom boom chicka doom chicka doom chicka doom. That's that Morse code beat that he was writing songs to, and it kind of transferred over to that sound that we know Johnny Cash for. Number 2, broken record. What is that? Well, the very first record that he ever recorded was called Hey Porter for legendary producer Sam Phillips at Sun Records. Really the birth of rock and roll. It was Johnny Cash, Elvis, Roy Orbison, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Carl Perkins. The very first record he ever sold was Hey Porter, and he was so excited. When Sam Phillips gave him that first record and said, here it is, with this Sun label on it. Sam told him to go take it over to the local radio station a few blocks away, so Johnny ran over there. He was all excited, handed it to the DJ. The DJ played the A side, and just hearing it come over the speakers was one of the highlights of Johnny's young life. And when the DJ went to turn it over for the B side, it accidentally slipped out of his hands, fell to the ground, and broke. And Johnny, being this is the first time for him, he's very green, saw that broken record and thought that was the only copy of the record and that his career was now over. So he went back to Sun Records, really dejected and heartbroken and convinced it was over. And when he told Sam, Sam just reached behind him in a huge box and pulled out, another of 145 sitting behind him and said, well, take this one over to him. He'll play it again. And, that's when Johnny got his first education in the music business. And let's see, the number 1 thing you might not know about the Man in Black. How did he get that name? Well, when he first started playing music, he hooked up with two mechanics, Luther Perkins and Marshall Grant, who were actually not very good musicians, but they played what was then known as hillbilly music, and so nobody would book them. I mean, no club was interested in having a bunch of hillbillies play their music. So they ended up playing their first concert in a church, and they needed to look kind of respectable. They didn't have matching outfits or anything, but they all had black. So they decided, well, let's just wear black. It'll be better for church anyways. And Johnny liked that look, and that became kind of his signature. Later on in life, he became known as the Man in Black and had a top hit called The Man in Black, which is all about the reason why he wore black all the time. So there we are, five things you might not have known about Johnny Cash. So look for this book in September. It's fabulous. It's all about the unknown childhood story of this legendary figure. Just amazing life. And I know you'll like it, so check it out when it comes out. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash.